with Canada Humidor, and we're at IPCPR 2019, and I have Chaim Kohn here with me. Good to see you again, sir.
See you, Louis. Always a pleasure.
And you have somebody you want to introduce to everyone here, I think.
Yeah, so you're familiar with my face. I've been doing this a little while, and I've been the sales manager here at Cigar Oasis for 6.5 years. Recently, we had the pleasure of meeting Dan Baranko, and I'd like to introduce you to Dan Baranko, new sales manager at Cigar Oasis.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Little background, and then I'll give it back to Chaim for a nice presentation on our product. I've been smoking cigars for about 10 years now. My father got me started into it, and I've been an active presence on social media with a few of the smaller brands that I've come very close with. And now I'm thrilled to be here at my first IPCPR, and officially my last, as we changed the name to PCA, I believe. So it's a lot easier to pronounce. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to being here for a few more years and beyond. So thank you guys very much for the time. Chaim, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks to all our customers. I would say if I split it up by the ratio, the Canadian cigar smoker are extremely informative and knowledgeable and take the time in investing in like the right solution. There's something about it. I mean, I can't imagine there's that many more cigar smokers, but the amount of calls I get from Canadian customers asking the tough questions and wanting to know everything, it's very impressive. There's something going on there.
I think what it boils down to, Chaim, is that in Canadian winters, we are trying to humidify our homes with our humidors. And that's where Cigar Oasis comes in to keep those cigars at the best state that they can be. So why don't you fill us in a little bit on the 3.0 stuff that you got here?
Yeah, last year we showed you the prototype for the 3.0, and we started shipping them soon after the show, October of 2018. They've been selling great, hard to keep them on the shelves. All the 4 models stayed the same in terms of capacity and name. They're just all 3.0. And some of the uniform features on all of them are going to be the new, enlarged, about 5 times the size, beautiful LCD/LED display. It stays backlit. You have everything on the one screen. No need to go through any menu options. So you have the current humidity, the set point, the temperature all on the one screen, as well as any alerts, low water, or Wi-Fi, or any other alerts that may come up. We'll get into that in a minute. Beautiful soft touch buttons. So very soft to the touch. You don't really have to press down, and it just changes the set point or anything else you need to change very easily. That's, of course, the Ultra model, entry-level unit for 50 to 100 count. XL, still our go-getter for the most of the humidors, the 100 up to a 300 count, plus 300 to 1,000 Magna for the cabinets. And like you were talking about, I guess in Canada people realize that active humidification, especially in the wintertime, is an absolute necessity, even for some of the smaller humidors. Truth be told, no matter what climate you're in, what climate you're in, or what time of year, you need circulation in your humidor. You want those cigars to get an equal distribution, and you want to circulate that air so you're not going to get any of that dusty, musty smell. And that's one of the many things that a Cigar Oasis in your humidor can do. And instead of having 5 different components between a hygrometer, humidifier, fan, and other things, you got everything built perfectly into one, everything on one beautiful screen. And now, of course, the 3.0, the biggest thing was that the Wi-Fi capability, which used to be a separate attachment, is now a built-in option. And I emphasize option. This, of course, still is just the humidifier with all the bells and whistles. The Wi-Fi was a separate attachment. We now built it in and assumed the cost. And the subscription is an optional service. It comes with a free trial. Right now you have actually a 6-month free trial if you're getting a Cigar Oasis until we release our newest app. We're kind of moving the server and all the Wi-Fi production stuff in-house to, not in-house, we're moving it to a third party instead of in-house to get rid of some of the, a lot of communication back and forth between 3 different parties. So it's all going to be taken care of by one tech company, third-party company that's going to handle everything. So while that's happening, you have a 6-month free trial. The app is working. Android a bit better than iOS, but definitely get the humidifier first. Set it up. Get to use it. Enjoy it. No matter what size humidor, unless you're talking about a travel case, there's something here for you. Of course, we also have our caliber hygrometers, caliber 4, the 4R, and I really want to thank our clientele in Canada, and thank you, Louis, and Canada Humidor. I always tell you this, but there's someone who understands the product, learns it. As soon as I send you one, you'll email me or call me a week or two later with a whole list of questions, because I know you're someone who's actually using it, testing it, and critiquing it, and I love educated customer.
With that, I actually have a question for you, Chaim, and I know we haven't chatted about this yet, but one of the things that the Canadian customers do, and I know that it's something that happens in the U.S. as well, but it's prevalent in Canada, is they use wine coolers to store their cigars in, and it's typically because in Canada most people don't have AC in their homes, and it's because they only need air conditioning for a few weeks out of the year. So their homes will spike in temperature, and they use these wine coolers, and they try to keep the temperature down just for a few short weeks. But one of the things that happens in a wine cooler is that it's a closed environment, typically a very high percentage seal. So you're looking at like a 96, 99% seal in them. And one thing that we've found with those customers is they'll be tempted because they'll get a larger wine cooler, like a 60-bottle wine cooler or something, and they'll go, oh, well, it's more than 300 cigars. I got to put the Plus in there. And what we're finding is that because of the way the Plus was made, it actually continues to humidify even though it's not running. Maybe we could go through the details, and I'll just crack these open and show what the difference is, and you can explain why that was done that way.
That would be worthwhile of its own video. But just before we show them actually this, I want to speak to a few of those points. One, I would encourage people to only get that wine cooler, Canada or not, if you really have it in a location that isn't temperature controlled. If you have a place, that office or home, that is temperature controlled, you don't need that. I know it looks nice, and people tend to confuse, especially in the beginning, refrigeration and temperature with humidity. If you're temperature controlled environment, you just need it placed a nice box that's controlled for humidity. Now, if you need the refrigeration because of the location that it's in, the temperature control, get it. Kind of be mindful that you're doing two things at once. You're trying to control temperature and humidity, and those can work against each other depending on what you're using. 100%, you want to be using the XL versus the Plus.
Yes.
Even if it's 1,000 count, I would tell you the XL. There's something that happens when you have humidity coming out passively, as is the case with the Plus. And people tend to confuse the XL and Plus are the same size in real estate, but they're designed quite differently. And the Plus puts out about 5 times as much humidity than the XL, both with the fan capacity as well as the design. This is not a sealed design. It does release humidity passively as well. The XL is completely sealed, always has been. This is the first model Cigar Oasis. Humidity is only released when the sensor tells it that it needs more, and so it's going to conserve it. And when you have the temperature control together with the unsealed system, you're going to have humidity that just keeps rising and rising to 80, especially if you're talking about an environment that's already temperature controlled. So XL is the way to go for the wine cooler. I generally discourage them unless you really need it. So that is in a nutshell. I'm going to put something up on the website. It's been on my to-do list for about 6 months. But a little troubleshooting for the wine coolers. They're becoming extremely popular, and they're nice. They're cedar lined. They have a good look to them. But definitely, if you have the option, stick with the traditional humidor if you're in a temperature-controlled space.
Absolutely. I couldn't say that better myself. Anyways, Chaim, thanks so much for explaining that. I know I kind of put you on the spot a little bit.
No, it's a good question.
But just appreciate your time, and looking forward to a longer, fruitful relationship.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chaim.